I'm gonna try to go ahead and do this. Let's talk diagnostics. My nephew yesterday, he called me up and he says, "Uncle D, I got, he has a 2010, no, 2008 uh, Jeep Patriot, 2.4 liter, I believe, and doesn't matter what size engine." But he called me up and he's telling me he needs an alternator, and I said, what are you talking about?" He goes, "Well, I went over to AutoZone and they told me I need an alternator, and my Jeep has two different alternators. One's 300, one's 175 or something like that." I said, "Well, how do you know it's an alternator?" He goes, uh, "The guy checked it, and that's what he came back with. Says the alternator was bad." I said, "What's going on?" He goes, "Well, I went out to when I go to start, it won't start, so I use the jump pack, and I jump it over, and it starts, and then." But every morning he has to use a jump starter. I said, I, I said, "So what do you think it's?" I said, "What about the battery?" And he goes, "Well, the guy told him, oh, it ain't the battery." So I said, well, me and him got in a little argument about something else. But anyway, so we hang up, and then a little bit later he calls me back. And he says, "Well, I think it's, I think it's, I think it's a battery." "Well, why do you think it's a battery now?" He goes, "Well, when I started up and I put my voltmeter on it like he showed me, and I got 14.25." Well, so I said, "Well, it's charging." And he goes, "Yeah, but the guy at AutoZone said it ain't charging. I need that alternator." I said, "Well, Kev," I said, if you're getting 14.25 when the engine's running, and you need a jump back to start it," I said, "You've done answered your question right there." He goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "You said it needed. You have under 12 when you're trying to start it, and you got 14.25 when it's running. That means you got a good it's charging." And I mean, I don't have the car in front of me. I can't check his terminals or nothing like that. And I asked him all them questions, and I said, "How's the terminals look? Are they tight? Blah blah blah." And then anyway, I said, "Well, I'm pretty sure you've answered your question." I said, "You need a new battery." And he goes, "Well, his battery was 3 years old. He got it from AutoZone. It's an ever start." So anyway, he went back over there. Uh, I told him to go get a battery. I said, "Go." I said, "If you want, just run down and get a new battery. Put a new battery in it, and see what it's like." So a little bit later, I call him up and he goes, "Yeah, you're right. It was a battery." I said, "Well, what did you do?" He goes, "Well, I drove over to O'Reilly's, and they checked it, and they said the alternator was good, and I just need a battery." And then they came back. We're sitting there talking, and AutoZone never had them started up to check the alternator. Are you listening to me? So anyway, so I said, "What do you mean you never had to start it?" He goes, "Yeah, O'Reilly's, they had me start the car to check the alternator, and AutoZone, they didn't." I said, "Well, with the guy at AutoZone, was he wearing a gray shirt or a red shirt?" So he was wearing a red shirt, but he knew what he was doing. I said, "Well, it don't sound like he knew what he was doing, and you almost had to buy an alternator. And on a Jeep, it's just like my Escape, uh, pretty much the same setup where you gotta drop. You don't have to pull a tire, but it just makes it easier to pull a tire. Pull a tire, pull a little belly pan off it, the rubber on the bottom, undo the compressor, air conditioner compressor, and let it hang by the not hang, but lay on the ground with your hoses still connected, and reach up and get the alternator. But I mean, you got to take off the belt, of course. I'm not gonna tell you every stupid step, but anyway, it's the same thing. Then you reach up in there and get the alternator out, and don't forget to disconnect the battery. Anyway, because it's real important because you can hit that there positive against the body there. Anyway, but we're not working on the car really. but uh, but it goes back to diagnostics and doing the little steps in the beginning to make sure you're right. Because if you ain't right, you're wrong. And if it's wrong, it ain't right. Do it right. And don't always listen to AutoZone or any other place without getting a check front or doing all the checks. All right, I'm out. You have a good one.